In this video, we are going to discuss the digital signature algorithm. Uh, Now, to obtain the digital signature function, there are two approaches with which the digital signature algorithm can be implemented. Of course, it is this digital signature algorithm will be using public-private key combinations uh, as a part of the asymmetric cryptography, in which encryption and decryption both are done with the two different keys, but both the keys are unique keys. So the first approach to obtain the digital signature algorithm is the first one is the using RSA. We have seen that how RSA can be used for asymmetric cryptography. A lot of mathematics are there by which the public and the private keys are being generated. So with this particular approach, whatever we are designing the digital signature algorithm, it is called the digital signature algorithm using RSA. And second one is the digital signature algorithm, which is also known as digital signature standard. So let us see one by one that what are these two approaches and how this digital signature algorithm is being designed. The first approach is the RSA approach. Now, as mentioned earlier also that since asymmetric cryptography is a little bit disadvantageous if we are trying to encrypt the whole message which is of the larger size, and if we are going to encrypt or decrypt that larger message with the help of asymmetric cryptography, the ciphertext generated may be more than that. So that is why the people come with the idea that instead of encrypting instead of signing the message itself, the instead of signing the message, what we do, we try to find out the limited size of the message by calculating or by applying a hash algorithm to produce hash value of the message, and that hash value is being signed with the help of the signing algorithm. So the RSA approach says that message which has to be signed, uh, uh, it is first given to the hash algorithm, which produces hash value, and that hash value is going to, which is of the fixed size, it is going to be signed with the help of the signing algorithm. So that hash value or the hash code is encrypted by sender's private key, and the public key is known to everyone as far as the sender is concerned. So anybody who is having sender's public key can decrypt and know about the hash value and the message itself. Now both the signatures means the sign, by using signing algorithm, whatever has been signed on the hash function, that is called the signature, and that signature along with the plain text message is transmitted on the network. So whenever receiver is going to receive that message, it will try to produce the hash code of that message and try to decrypt the signature which has been sent by the sender by decrypting the signature with the help of the public key. So whenever it will be decrypting the signature by the help of public key, it will be getting the hash value, and the receiver is obtaining the hash code from the original message which it had received, and then it tries to match these hash codes, hash code which it has receiver has calculated, and the receiver has decrypted the signature to get the hash code. Both the hash codes are being matched. If it is same, message is accepted. If it is not same, it is not accepted. The case when it will not be accepted, when the message when the hash value which is calculated and the hash value after decrypting the signature does not come same, it means there is some alteration in between, alteration in the message has been done in between, because message is being sent in the in the open network in the plain text form, so anybody can change the message. So if the message has been changed, the hash value which will be calculated and which will be obtained by decrypting the signature would not be same. So just to give the information, just to get the information about the message has not been altered or not, this is hash codes are being matched. This is the approach which is using the digital signature algorithm, in which we have a message. By applying a hash algorithm, we try to obtain the hash value represented by H, and this hash value is encrypted by private key of the sender. Suppose sender is A. So original message, we apply the hash algorithm, either secure hash algorithm or MD5 or whatever may be, and then this hash value, which is limited in size, is being encrypted with the help of the private key of the sender, and then this is called signature. The value which is hash value which is encrypted by the private key is known as signature. So this the message, original message and the signature is combined together, and it is sent to the on the network. So whenever receiver is going to receive it, it will be receiving two things. One is the message and another is the signature. Signature is what? It is the encryption by signing algorithm applied with the help of the private key on the hash value of the message. So that is, you can say that it can be represented by encryption PRA, means the private key on the hash value of the message. Now whenever it is being received, the message and the signature is taken all, it is received all together, but it is bifurcated. The original message, we try to obtain the hash value by using the same algorithm which is applied on the sender side. The same algorithm is applied on the receiving end, and then this signature which is being received by the receiver, it will be using the sender's public key. Public key is represented by PUA. So whenever we apply public key and verifying algorithm is applied to decrypt this particular encrypted hash value, we will get the hash value. So hash value which is calculated and hash value which we are getting, it is being compared. If both are same, then message will be accepted, otherwise message will be rejected. So this is a very simple approach in which private key is being used to encrypt the hash value of the message. Along with the message, it is being sent. Message and the encrypted value, signature, you can say, has come to the receiving end. Receiver will decrypt with the help of the public key and try to calculate the hash value of the original message received, and it is being compared. So this is RSA approach. The second algorithm in the digital signature is the digital signature standard, or DSA, DSS or DSA. It also uses the hash function as it is being used in the RSA approach. The hash code is provided as an input to the signature function. Along with, there is some alteration in digital signature standard, that the hash value which is being taken as the form of an input to a signature function, along with that a random number is also generated for this particular signature. So in this case, in RSA approach, no random number is generated, but in DSS it is asked to generate a random number k. Now what is in the signature function? The signature function also depends upon the private key, because private key is available with the user itself. So private key of the sender, and we try to set the parameter which is known as global public key. Another parameter has been taken. So two new parameter has come into the picture, k and PUG, where k is a random number and PUG is a global public key. After doing all these, applying k, private key and the global public key, the result which we will get with that will be a signature, and this signature consists of two components. One is called S, another is called R. What happens at the receiving end? What the receiver is used to do, first of all, it try to find out the hash code of the incoming message with the same algorithm as done on the sender side. This code, whatever it has generated, and the received signature, whatever signature it has received, it will become the input to the verification function. So we have some signing signing function in the signature function on the sender side, and we have some verification function on the receiver side. So this receiver function also depends upon the global public key PUG, which is used by the sender, as well as the sender's public key. Since global public key, sender's private key, and the key value random number k is used to generate the signature. So verification can be done with the help of the same global public key, but with the sender's public key. And output of the verification is the value that is equal to the signature component R. If it matches, the signature is valid, message is accepted. If the value R is different, it is being rejected. So two new features has been added. One is K and PUG on the signatures on the sender side, and the verification function also depends upon the PUG and the sender's public key. And we have some more calculations on the receiving end. So this is the digital signature standard represented in the form of an illustration, in which the message is being taken. After applying the hash algorithm, we will be getting the hash value, and this hash value is applied into the signing function, or the signing algorithm is applied. But for using this signing algorithm, we have to use global public key, we have to use the private key of the sender, as well as we have to use the random number. So with this three parameters applied with the particular algorithm, signing algorithm, on the hash value of the message, that becomes the signature. And then the message and this signature is being combined together and sent to DSS. It has been already told in the previous slide that the result of the signature is consist of two components, S and R. So S and R are being generated. So this signature component contains two things, S and R. So along with the message, S and R will be received by the receiver. So what the receiver is going to do, it will try to find out the hash value of the message by applying same algorithm as it is applied on the left sender side. The same algorithm is used to apply to get the hash value, and this S value and this R value is applied onto the verification algorithm along with the same global public key as well as the public key of the sender on the verification algorithm, and then this R value is compared with the resultant of this verification algorithm. Whatever is coming, if both R are same, then message will be accepted, otherwise not accepted. So this is the description of the DSS. For doing something on the sender side, first of all, a large prime number is assumed. P is considered to be equal to a large prime number of L bits, where L is a multiple of 64 between 512 and 1024, meaning thereby whatever prime number is assumed, the size of it will be represented by a number of bits. The length of the bits will be in between 512 and 1024, but it should be multiple of 64. Then another variable is assumed as Q, which is a 160-bit prime factor of P minus 1. Whatever value of P we have assumed, we take P minus 1, and then we consider the Q as one of the factor of P minus 1, and it will be represented in the form of a 160-bit. Another value is being assumed, that is G, and G is nothing but H to the power P minus 1 oblique Q mod P, where H is a number. What is H? H is a number less than P minus 1. Any value less than P minus 1 can be H, and it should be such that H should be selected in such a manner that H to the power P minus 1 upon Q mod P is always greater than 1. So it means three variables P, Q and G is being assumed, and another number x is being assumed, which is number less than q, whatever q we have got less than q, and another number y is being calculated. Y is equal to whatever g we have assumed, g to the power x mod p, and h is nothing but h is a message digest. H is a digest which is obtained by applying the message digest algorithm. Now, as far as PQG is concerned, PQG are public in nature and can be sent along with the insecure network to the receiving end. X is considered to be the private key and it has to be kept by the sender itself, and Y, which it has calculated as g to the power x mod p, it is the public key. Now, let us assume that the sender wants to send a message M. Now, before sending the message, these all things has to be done by the sender. So what sender used to do, it generates a random number k which is less than q, and then sender calculates two values r and s, as explained earlier that it is going to give two components s and r. So it is going to calculate a value of r and s by knowing all these values, because all these values have been generated, assumed or calculated by the sender. So r is calculated as g to the power k, where k is a random number less than q, mod p already knows, q it already knows. So by this, applying this function value, it will be able to get what is the value of r. Similarly, it is going to calculate the value of s as k inverse. It will try to find out the k inverse of what, and it is multiplied with the hash value plus x. X we already know that it is a private key, and the r it has been calculated over here. So by this it is going, and then we are going to take the mod q. So in this way the sender is able to calculate r and s, and so this r and s along with this message is sent to the receiving end. When this value r and s now this value r and s are the signature of the sender, and the sender sends these two values to the receiver, and the receiver is going to verify the signature. And how it is going to verify the signature? It tries to calculate something. What kind of thing it is going to calculate? First it calculates the value of w, which is equal to s minus 1, s to the power minus 1, s inverse mod q. Since s it has received, s has been calculated here and it has been sent, so s inverse mod q can be obtained. The second value which it wants to calculate is the u1, and u1 is nothing but the message digest of the message multiplied by the value w which it has calculated, and then it takes the mod q. So in this way it is able to calculate u1. Then it calculates u2. u2 is nothing but r into w. W it has calculated, r it has received, and q it knows, because p, q, g are public in nature and can be sent on the secure network. So whenever a sender is assuming all these three values, it will send to the receiving end also. So it calculates w, then u1, then u2, then it calculates the value of v. And how it calculates the value of v? With g to the power u1 multiplied by y to the power u2, and then take mod p and mod q. And if this value of v is equal to r, the signature is verified, otherwise, and signature is verified and the message is accepted, otherwise rejected. So how? Let us check. Let us give the proof that how this v will be equal to r. And for calculating v equal to r, let us understand what is the value of g to the power u1 into y to the power u2 mod p mod q. So how it is being done? Let us verify. This is the signing and the verifying algorithm representing a different functions. That function f2 is applied with pqg along with the k, and this output of this f2 is applied to the f1 along with the value k and h, so that it will be getting r and it is getting s. Let us check how the value of r is calculated. The value of calculation of value of r includes k, p, q and g. Let us check. R is calculated with G, K, P and Q. So that is what G, K, P and Q is used to calculate the value of R. And how it is being calculated? With function f2 k p q j, and it is equal to g to the power k mod p mod q, g to the power k mod p mod q. Similarly, r whatever we have to find out the value of s, the value of s depends upon the function value applied on what? Message height, message digest with k, x and q. So it is actually k inverse hm plus xr mod q. That is what has been written, k inverse hm xr mod q. Similarly, the same thing is happening on the verification side. Let us go for the proof. We know that v, which is being calculated by the receiver, is g to the power un into y to the power u2 mod p mod q. So we have written the same, g to the power u1 into y to the power u2 mod p mod q. Now let us find out what is the value of u1. So whatever is the value of u1, we will write over here. What is the value of u1? u1 is hm multiplied by w mod q. So we have written g to the power hm multiplied by w mod q. And then y2, u2 is being replaced by its value. u2 is r into w mod q. So I have written y to the power r w mod q, and then mod p, and then mod q. Now, now we know that what is the value of y, how we have calculated the value of y, and replace the value of y by its value. So what is the value of y? Let us check. Y is g to the power x mod p. So what I have done, y is replaced by g to the power x. So whenever we doing it, so it will become g to the power x rw mod p mod q. Now it becomes g to the power hm w mod q and into multiplied by g into x. So what we'll do, we take mod q common, and then it will become g to the power hm into w plus xrw mod q mod p mod q. Now what is the value of now we take w common out of this, so w will become out, so it will become hm plus xr, w since common, so w is taken out. Now let us go and see what is the value of w, and we'll replace the value of w over here. So let us check what is the value of w. W is S inverse mod Q. And what is the value of S? S is equal to K inverse HM mod Q. So whenever we put the value of S over here, it is K inverse. So K inverse will become K, and HM plus XR, it becomes inverse, and then mod Q. So that is what has been done. So it will become K inverse tha, that will become K, then HM plus XR inverse mod Q. Now you can see HM plus XR into K into HM plus XR inverse. So this value and this value is going to cancel out. So we are left with G to the power K mod P mod Q. And what is G to the power K mod P mod Q? G to the power K mod P mod Q is nothing but it is R. So we can say V is equal to R. So this is going to give the proof of the correctness of the algorithm, that is DSSS.